I feel like we can have some stuff to talk about, but ACC has no chance of making the playoffs. But let's go to the ACC title game in Charlotte, North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Clemson is a 7.5-point favorite. Over-under is set at 63.5 there. Looking at this game here fresh, North Carolina, I get the sense, is like limping into this game. They had such a great year, and then they have that close win against Virginia. They have a close win at Wake Forest. Then they lose to Georgia Tech. Then they lose to NC State. I feel like they're trending in the wrong direction. Go ahead, Fresh. I just hear the cat meow, so I guess that means that my time of talking is done.
Hey, when Champ agrees that the Tar Heels are struggling, it's time. Um, the Tar Heels, it something happened in the last 4 games of the season. I don't know, it hit November, and this team just is the offense isn't scoring enough points, but the defense is actually stopping some people. They're not giving up 50 points a game. It's the weirdest thing where they didn't give up a ton to Georgia Tech, but the offense didn't score. Last week, the defense wasn't, wide open gate with nothing to, with no opposition whatsoever, but the offense just couldn't put up touchdowns when they had to. It's something I can't tell if is there injuries in play or people just scheming? Is the play calling wrong? Like, where's the disconnect with this UNC offense? They've been putting up points at a rapid rate, and now they're just mailing it in. People maybe is Drake Maye giving off tells when he comes to the line of scrimmage, or he's making just one read and getting flustered with coverages, or someone throw him. They must be throwing him different looks. Maybe put too many guys in the box and taking away his legs and forcing him to throw. The only thing I can see is they're forcing him to throw more with his legs. Give him that ability to be on that perimeter, making the defensive backs come up and then throw from there, or having their eyes at him and not covering a receiver if they get certain coverages. I think the scheme right now is they're keeping him in the pocket, not letting him use his legs, forcing him to actually throw. And that's where he's maybe one read, maybe two read, and then just eating it. Just not the same quarterback. And you got to give a ton of credit, not to the defense coordinators they played the past few weeks, but also the players for understanding the scheme and actually playing to that level. Coaches can coach all they want, but if the players aren't out there actually executing the schemes, getting the edge, setting the edge protection, not getting too far upfield on their pass rush, locking down. Sometimes the best pass rush is going 3 or 4 yards and forming a perimeter. You don't have to get home on the quarterback. You just got to contain them, especially if they're mobile, and let the secondary sort of do what they have to do from there. They're putting players that they're. How does Clemson take all that evidence of defensive success and use the players that they have that all should be drafted high and make them perform? Because that side of the football has been less than inspiring all season long. We expected big things, and they have underwhelmed at a drastic rate. This game right now is going to come down to that matchup right there. Clemson's defense, UNC's offense. Where does Breezy? Where does Simpson? Where does Jeremiah Trotter, and where's that secondary come into play? How do they dictate, or are they going to be dictated to by the UNC offense? On the other side, what does Gene Chizik have for DJU and Will Shipley? You've got to know, hey, we've got to stop the run. If I'm going to try to stop them, I'm going to force DJU to throw the football because they don't have any dynamic receivers. They don't have dynamic tight end. It's Shipley, and that's it. You've got to take him away. If you focus on him and lock it down and actually tackle at the point of contact, you are going to limit Clemson's possessions, limit their offense, and then wait for them to make a turnover or two in your own end of the field. Put the pressure on them. Dictate them. You guys have a legacy to build. You still have a chance of making the Orange Bowl if you somehow beat Clemson, and they are a very beatable football team. This is not the Clemson. You cannot walk out there and see that tiger paw on the helmet and think they're just amazing. That Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson, any of those star receivers are going to walk through that door. None of them are coming. There's no one on that team. And honestly, Will Shipley does not really truly terrify me either. He's a good player, but he is not an all-world beater. You have got to come in and play with a reckless abandon. You have nothing to lose. You've played terrible the past couple of weeks. You can play better. We've seen you guys play better offensively and defensively. If you have nothing else left in the tank, that's one thing. But you've got to, if you have a chance of winning conference championship, you should never have an excuse of, man, we're tired, or man, we just don't have enough. You have one game for all right now. You win a ring, you win a title. That's a lot. That's a big deal. Something that hasn't happened at UNC since 1980. They have not won a football conference championship since 1980. You have a chance in front of you to take care of business and get it done. Offensively, Drake Maye, you've got to be better. Defensively, you got to tackle the point of contact. You know you're going to give up some points. You just cannot give up the 30 plus. That's where you've got to find ways to plug the game. Force field goals, not touchdowns. Limit this offense that's not explosive. In the end, I picked Clemson to go to the Orange Bowl. I'm going to stick with it. Somehow they're going to find a way to get it done, but it's not going to be a fun one.
So all this started in November. I don't know. Maybe they're engaging in some sort of activity that happens in November. I don't know. People are weird. But I did find one thing here, Fresh, that is interesting with Drake Maye. Drake Maye, when he completes less than 60% of his passes, North Carolina is 0-3 on the season here. He needs to really make sure that he's taking the easy throws that Clemson's going to give him. Don't worry about getting everything back on a single play. Make sure you keep things in front of him. Take what the defense gives you. Don't try to win that game completely by yourself. Josh Downs has got to be better too. I need to see a little bit more out of him than I've seen in the last couple of weeks. I really like Josh Downs. I think he's a great wide receiver, 83 catches, over 900 yards and 11 touchdowns. But he had the 3-touchdown game against Wake Forest, and then since then he's had 9 catches and 82 yards, no touchdowns. If UNC wants to win this football game, he's got to have a better game. And if Clemson's going to win here, and I agree with you, Clemson's a very beatable football team. This is not a Tiger football team that I think is, I don't know. I think if they played outside of the ACC, I think they would still probably have another loss as well. I'm not saying they're a bad football team. I just don't think that they're a great, like they used to be, Clemson team. I need to see Miles get a little more sacks after it. I need to see Miles Murphy do a little bit more than what he's done. Dude's only got 37 tackles and 6.5 sacks on the year. And we were talking about this guy being one of the best defenders in the country at the beginning of the season. Where you at, man? I don't know. You know what, Fresh? What the heck? It's the end of the season. This is one of the last games that we're picking. Give me the Tar Heels in this game. I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm going against what you say here. Uh, I'll take UNC in 7.5 in this game. I think that 63 number is really high.
Yeah,
That 63 is
63 is real
really
high.
really high. So, but we'll see.